This is a reality check with Rios. We got my boy HeadKrack in here.
What up?
I'm very happy to have you here, man. It's a humbling experience for me. Thank you for coming, man.
Thank you for having me, bro.
No, thank you, because it lets me know that people are seeing that I'm doing something of value, that it's making an impact, it's engaging. For somebody of your stature to be here in my house, meet my wife, meet my son.
It was dope. I got the whole tour. Like, it was really dope.
What's up? This is my boy HeadKrack. Yeah, we doing this.
Shout out to Xander.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But what's up with you, man? How's everything going? How you doing?
Yo, everything's Gucci, man. Like most people, just figuring out the pivots in an ever-evolving business and economy. I think everybody that's watching this right now, you've just lived through a time where you watched the price of everything do something ill, like in real time. And then also too, like in the aspects of the business as it relates to like radio, TV, film, and all that, so many changes, like even like with us being on the West Coast right now, so much of film hinged on being in California.
Right.
And now those jobs are moving out of town. And then those jobs are also being replaced by AI in some different aspects. There's so many different like media platforms that like the viewing audience is being like spread thin across so many different things. And it's, it's about trying to still navigate the waters and like create things that is useful to people, which I think is another reason why your platform is doing so well, because y'all are talking about real things.
Thank you, brother.
Because like anytime you can hear a conversation that helps people, I think that serves more than just talk about like something gossipy. That has
some get you gotcha.
Yeah, that has like a short lifespan. Like, it might be hot for a minute, but like, yo, man, what information can we get to people that's gonna help them grow 10 years from now once they stumble across this too,
Right. And that was something that caught my eye with you, is that, damn, this dude has been at all levels: radio, TV, podcast, interviewing. I seen you on red carpets.
Word.
Like just, I saw you in the Cadillac doing mute. Like I saw you on the podcast Cadillac
Chronicles.
Cadillac. Oh, this is dope.
Yo.
Like it was so dope seeing that, but just seeing you in your element, just flowing in the Cadillac, top down. I'm like, oh, this dude is cold, man.
Yo, and shout out my guy who does that platform, Brian Friedman. Like,
Shout
I
out.
am proud of his elevation, because I remember the first couple times I was seeing it, it was like local guys from around the way.
Yeah.
And I saw a video the other day, he had the Isley brothers in a Cadillac. Then I saw, he had the Young Bloods in a Cadillac.
What?
So to see people grow in different levels and just, to be able to cheerlead and just be happy for that, it means the world to me, because we just all trying to do something great.
Right.
And, whether you're a part of it from being featured, or whether you're a part of it of being one of those people that click like and share.
Yeah.
Or telling others, you know what I mean? Like, we all have a part to play. And at some point in time, it's going to be turned for somebody else to play a part in your elevation. You know what I mean? So, I'm just happy to be a part of the cycle.
Dude, being part of the cycle is one thing, but seeing the transition, seeing the evolution from one thing to the next, where do you see the value here in podcasting? Because we just saw the political side of it.
Mm-hmm.
The running for presidents, the election, they go on a podcast.
Yeah.
Like they sit down with streamers. I'm like, wait, this whole thing just changed in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
And it just happened like that to me, because I'm just getting into the game, just really paying attention. Is that something that happened overnight, or is that something that's been taking place and you've been seeing it?
I think I've been seeing it get chipped away at for quite some time, because I remember the very first time I heard the word podcast, it was probably like in the early single-digit 2000s,
Right.
And I was telling people in the radio space that, hey, listen, people can hear these songs whenever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's about the content.
Right.
And you should probably let your DJs talk more. You know what I mean? Like, and all these people always will have the headspace of like, yo, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm more qualified than you. I have a radio degree. We spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on research. They want to hear the songs. The music is the star, the point to the sky. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like that may be the answer right now, but I'm telling you, it's all going to change. And everything I've ever said has always came to fruition. And it frustrates me sometimes because, like, you know, I've been in situations where people try to make me feel like I was crazy or just uninformed. But it's like, yo, I'm outside. Like, I'm around, like, real people.
My ears to the street. Like, I know what's happening.
Yeah.
I called all these right, remember?
Yeah. And, you know, and at the end of the day, like, I mean, you could come back and be like, I told you so. Or you could just be like, like Mr. Miyagi, like, after, like, Daniel beat dude at the Hill Valley Karate finale, just go.
Don't worry, Sid. You already know exactly what's going on.
You know what it is,
man.
But it's so dope to see it pop off, man. And the only thing I'm scared about is just the potential oversaturation because it's already man.
It's already there.
But the dope thing is you have some people that continue to chip away at it, no matter how many listeners and downloads they get.
Right.
And you got some people who like do 6 episodes and be like, yeah, no one's listening, I quit.
Yeah, it's like they don't want to put the work in. They want the immediate success, the immediate gratification, just like I want it now.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not going to come like that.
You got to work for it.
You got to work for it. And anything that you want success is going to come with consistency. And maybe your crowd, maybe it's not 1 million. Maybe it's 2,000 people that pay attention to you from your surroundings. You know what I mean? But if what you're talking about is impactful, it's meaningful. That means that you're doing something worth doing. Yeah. You know, like everything is not about money. And that's what I start seeing people like, they're like, oh, you know, the YouTube and this and that. I'm like, I'm just seeing a piece of it. I'm like, it ain't what you think it is. You know what I mean? It's not what you think it is. The work that you got to put in and for what you get back in return, if you're just doing it solely for the money, it ain't there. You got to have a mission.
Yeah, I think sometimes the intent, which registers as a frequency in the larger scope of the universe, if your intention is always money, I think sometimes the universe repels from that and doesn't give you what you want because your intentions are wrong for wanting it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know,
that's deep.
Yo, I mean,
that's deep because that's cold right there.
Thank you, man. Like, if everything that you do is defined by money and the acquisition of it, what happens to you when the money goes?
Right.
Or if the money doesn't come, are you still not that same person who decided to do a podcast for whatever reason you decided to do it? Or, you know, or what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what it is. So with that, you know, being said, even when it comes to like just like things that I ask God and the universe for, I never ask for money. I ask for the opportunities.
Right.
Give me an opportunity to like do this, that, and the third so I can create more opportunities. And the money will come second nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you operate it right. But, you know, but there's also other safeguards you could put in to make sure like damn near foolproof that you are successful. Like you could throw as much as you wanted, like AdSense on Google
exactly.
and Spotify ads and make sure your podcast get promoted. Or you could find your tribe.
Find your tribe. Find your tribe. Find your niche and run with it. Like, me, I feel like I wake up and I'm like, okay, I feel better than I felt before. You know what I mean? Like what I'm doing right now at 44 years old, I feel more complete as a person doing what I'm doing today.
That's real.
Like, and that makes me feel so good because when I lay down, I don't have as many questions. Like, oh, am I doing, is this what? No, you're waking up and you're feeling good. You're getting feedback from people. And that's what I feel like God, like how you said, the universe, God, has put me on this path to be a example of somebody that made it through some shit and is saying like, hey, I don't got it all, but guess what? I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm joyful. I cut this shit out and look at what happened. And it's not that hard. You know what I mean? You cut out some bullshit, cut some of the fat, and you get to the good shit.
Yeah, like, because sometimes that bullshit is what's weighing you down. You know what I'm saying? Like, these negative things that you holding on to or these superficial things that really have no real redeeming value, like, outside of material, could be keeping you on a launch pad and preventing you from taking off.
Right.
You know? So I'm glad that, like, you know, you found that. And even with me, like, you know, I had to bump my head and I ain't even gonna say bump my head, like, you know, because like I did had a very lucrative radio career that lasted about 23 years.
Yeah.
And when I left that, you know, first, you know, anytime you leave something that seems solid, you're like, oh, what have I done?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do next?
Yeah.
And but I realized, man, like, yo, yeah, the money was fantastic, but what I was able to do without those burdens and all those pressures was, you can't even put a price tag on that. Being able to take my kids to school, being
Right.
able to like travel more, see
Right.
the world, stay up as late as I want and wake up at 7 a.m. It's the simple things.
It's the simple, small things.
Yeah, it's the small things that add up to like, major things, man. And like, and I feel like I've been freer than I've ever been in the last couple years. And like every now and then I think, we have to be tested ourselves
Right.
to see like, all right, cool. Now, like think about Rocky IV.
Right.
Yo, like
right.
Rocky IV, I think he had a robot. You know what I'm saying? Like he had a statue.
exactly.
Like,
Coming in,
he was living different.
And he lost touch. He
Yeah.
lost touch. He lost that hunger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it wasn't there. It was like you came from the gutter. Now you're here, and it's like staying rooted. Also, like staying rooted. And so I wanted to ask you this: with the transitions in life, right? And and at the times that you say this door is closing. Okay, I'm moving on to the next thing. A lot of people don't have the wherewithal to say, you know what? I see that this chapter is closed. I need to go into the next chapter in my life. And making those decisions, how did you make those decisions? And also as being a father, did that come into play as well as you're calculating like, boom, let me see this.
So what I'll say is I started going to ayahuasca retreats.
What?
And those ayahuasca retreats, initially what I was going for was because like my mom had died and I knew I was getting ready to take over. Like,
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, thank you so much, my brother. It never gets easier, but you just eventually get used to whatever the new normal is, right?
Yeah.
So I was trying to like cope with the loss of that because even before she passed away, like I don't know how like super scientifical, metaphysical you are, but like, like I used to be able to astral project and like
really
see people who have been out of here a long time ago.
Wait, is this before ayahuasca?
Before.
Really?
Before. And it got to a point like when my mom passed, I couldn't do it anymore.
Wait, so when you were astral, this is something that you practiced or just something that you was always able to do?
I didn't understand what it was for like the first half of my life. Like I literally thought I was being abducted. Like, because like I would go through sleep paralysis. Then I would like be hearing things. I would see like shadow people. I'd hear like things laughing in the background because I'm trying to get up and I can't. And then after a while, when I started getting used to it, I was like, yo, let me just go with it. And then this will sound crazy to anybody who's uninitiated. Like my spirit would literally leave its body and I can go wherever I wanted to. However, I would only go places I was familiar with.
Right.
So when my grandmother passed away back in 2009, I would always go back to an old apartment in the Bronx, and it would be weird because like it's her apartment, but it's not her apartment. And we'd have these conversations that let me know that I'm dead, but I'm fine, and you're doing great. Don't worry about nothing. And I would take that with me, and I'd be like, and it made her death a little bit easier. And then after a while, when Joe Frazier, the boxer, was my cousin. I went to his
You got
funeral.
that left hook too?
So like I eventually got into boxing too. And that's crazy because that also leads into a pivot that like I'm about to make right now. But so when I went to his funeral, I ran into my grandmother's niece, who was like, hey, like I got Gloria's old apartment. And I'm like, really? Can I go see it?
What?
And when I went to go see it, it was the place that I kept astral projecting to. That's why it felt familiar, but was different.
Yeah.
Because it was different.
Yeah.
It's modeled different after the place. So I was like, and at that moment, that was like the biggest aha moment. Like, I completely understand this now. I know what it is. I'm half a wizard.
So wait, okay, I don't mean to cut you off, but I have questions.
Okay.
I have questions about that. So when you were visiting the apartment, it's the new apartment. It's newly designed by the niece.
Well, they didn't change the infrastructure of the
No,
apartment.
but just it's different stuff in there.
Yeah, like the wallpaper's
but
different.
Your grandmother
the
was there.
toaster's here, yeah.
So do you think your grandmother is in that area? That's where she's.
What I started reading up on is like a lot of times when you meet up with people, you'll meet at a common place, a place that's familiar to both. Because I used to live with my grandmother in the Bronx for a little bit, and that was probably where we had most of our best memories there. Cause like from the time I was a kid till like the 1 year I lived with her when I was in the 7th grade, like that was our spot. And when she moved to Virginia, she modeled her house just like the apartment. Almost to a fault, because it's like, yo, man, you could have made that bathroom bigger. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you working off a 1948 floor plan,
I want it just like this.
Like, nah, it was crazy because you could blindfold somebody and just walk through the house and like end up exactly where you're supposed to. Because it was like, give or take a room here or there, it was the exact same way. Like my room looked just like my room when we lived in the Bronx. So that part was wild. But but that was like the last thing I needed to like understand it more. I started just doing more and more research about it. Like, oh, Astral, I am not being abducted. There aren't witches riding my chest. Because like when people talk about sleep paralysis, they be like, oh, the witch was riding them.
Yeah, demons on your chest. Somebody trying to
But if you ever have sleep paralysis and you just go
I used to have it all the time.
But next time you have it, if you just like let the fear go, you're halfway there. And especially if you start hearing a ringing in your ear, that this high pitched ringing that you'll hear in your ear, that's when you know you're about to zip out.
Oh, dude.
And once you start mastering it, and I've never like did anything crazy, because like you can go on YouTube and look at people's astral projection stories.
Yeah,
there are people that'll tell you, yo, I went to the moon, and there's like astral projection police that keep you from going to certain places. I don't know how much to believe into that. However, but if you even look up they were not Project Stargate, but they literally had a military program where like they was training people to do a lot of this mind
They
stuff.
have the files online. You can go watch.
I did see the Project Stargate files, but that was more so about something that they was trying to figure out, like on Mars with some of the stuff that they declassified.
Yeah.
But all that stuff is like, I've always been fascinated by that stuff. I would be the kid that like, if you went to the school library and you looked at the card to see who checked out all the weird paranormal, Bigfoot, Sasquatch.
You on somebody's list right there.
Yo, be like, yo, he checked this book out and then he checked it out again. He let someone have it for a week and then he rechecked that because like I've always been fascinated by that stuff.
That's dope, man. And how has that added value to your life?
It added a lot of value because then I started to realize that like the book The Secret was real.
Oh yeah.
And like, oh, you literally can manifest the wildest things that you never thought of you could manifest. And I would just manifest things just to prove I can do it.
Well, you're an example of that. Like the rooms I see you in, the places I see you, it's like he's there and he's supposed to be there.
Yo,
like
it is really surreal. Like sometimes, like I'll leave something and I'll cry in a car because I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. I really can't.
And you fit there. Like it's like you're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Like and it's like I was trying to like put it together and think about what this is, and I've never had a real example of that. I've always tried to put it together, but of somebody that just is comfortable everywhere they are, and they're themselves.
Yeah.
And I mean, I did my research. I'm looking up videos, interviews, where you're at, music, TV. It's like this guy is himself everywhere, and everybody is appreciating him in his spaces.
Yo, and it's not lost on me. Like, I mean, and it's crazy because like sometimes I don't necessarily like realize it until like someone like you tells me what you just told me, you know, because like I always feel like I'm not loud enough. I'm not in everybody's faces. I'm not manipulating relationships for opportunities because like sometimes I just move how I move and just let the game come to me. And sometimes that makes you take a scenic route in the overall arch of, like, sometimes I'll be forgetting who be in my phone. You know what I mean? Like, damn, I totally should have hit blah, blah, blah and asked them for such and such. But for whatever reason, sometimes I don't. And that's like another thing that I learned at one of these ayahuasca retreats. That was like the last chapter of thing. So like, just to jump ahead, like, so being able to astral project, and then when my mom died, when I need to do it the most, I can't anymore. And I don't know if it was out of fear of like seeing her again and like, is this the last time I'm gonna see you?
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna say? Da 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 da. But I felt like my antenna was broken. So in addition to that, in addition to like getting ready to take on this new job where I'm gonna have to entertain the energy of people, because I watched how Ricky had to entertain the energy of people and how he dealt with it in various degrees of good. I wanted to be better armed for it.
Okay.
And the crazy thing is, right before I was about to go, the pandemic came and I had to cancel that first retreat. So the very first time I ended up going, it was in the middle of the pandemic, and it unlocked a lot. It didn't fix my ability to astral project, but it did put me at peace with what it actually felt like when my grandmother died, what it felt like when my mother died, and what it felt like when Biggie died. Because I really like hip hop and I kind of wanted to know.
Yeah.
And like everybody who's ever died, they're good. What you experience when you cross over from this physical experience to the next thing, there's no amount of money you can get that can match that feeling. Like you could bust the most immaculate nut in the world.
Right.
It will not feel like
that.
What that feels, that crossing over. Like that's why like a lot of times people have a euphoric face, a look on their face before they die, even if they died crazy.
Right.
Unless you coughing blood.
Right.
Them people look like they're really going through it.
Yeah.
But
spiritually, do you think it's basically being born into your next life? Like where you're going into the next?
I think when you look at the larger scope of things, like it's the pregame. This physical experience we're going through, like this ain't as long as the post game.
Right.
Like, you know, once you out of here, like, I mean, like, yo, like, you know, if we lucky, the average person lived to be like what, 70, 85, if God really like you.
Right.
Once you get to 100, I don't know if it's like a gift or like, cause some people look like, yo, man, I don't need to be here no more. It's too expensive to be alive. They keep raising the price of everything. I
was good at 85, homie. You could have took me.
I can't afford tea. It hurts to breathe. And I can only blink 7 times a day without having to like wet my eyes. You know?
Like nothing's good right now, man. Get me out of here. Get me to this place.
I never understood that because like I definitely like was one of the people when I was a kid. I want to be like specifically. I want to live to be 136. I don't know why 136, but I wanted to live to be 136.
Yeah.
And then I realized that like that's not financially sustainable.
Yeah. No. And so how we got to the ayahuasca was the decision making, like transition from job to job, and like I was kind of saying like. Sometimes when we are individual, single, or whatever, it's a little bit easier to make decisions. But when you have the responsibility of others, your children, how did that factor into the transitions, like the no's and the yeses?
So what the ayahuasca like did was like, hey man, you serving some shit that don't no longer serve you. You're coming here looking for answers, and the answer is bounce. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come back in a few months for another ceremony and see if the answer is the same. Bounce.
Get up out of there.
I'm gonna come back a third time because like my ankle hurt that time. No, literally, it did. And like maybe I wasn't 100% tapped in. And it's like
my ankle was hurt that time.
It really was. Like I was having like some weird like tendon flare up. And it was like, you're like, and the third time it was like, still no. And you should bounce. And also I'm gonna make it to where because you do 3 ceremonies every retreat. So I've done 11 actual ceremonies. So I went to 4 different retreats. And it was the last one that was like, no, really, Nick, the bounce, and also you need to ask for help more. Cause like there was a situation where like I drank the tea and nothing was happening. And sometimes nothing happens.
Okay.
Cause like everything happens differently for people based on what the medicine decides you need or based on what you really truly need. And so when I drank it, it's like, oh, this must be one of those ones. Well, nothing will happen for me. This guy walks up and hits a tuning fork by me. Then all of a sudden, I can see every color that doesn't have a name. Like not the 248 color box of crayons where you get like cyan and oranges, goldfish. Like whoa, oh, I'm seeing all these colors because I'm about to die. Oh man, it's real. Well, you know what? Let me close my eyes. I close my eyes. I'm still seeing all these colors. And then like my brain is processing everything that I see as binary code. Like your shirt would have killed me if I'd have saw your shirt because everything would have scrambled, like not scrambled your shirt, but I would have read everything on your shirt as like some weird ass binary code. Yeah. Because like what happens is we operate on whatever this frequency that we're on right now, this verbal conversational frequency. I'm talking to you, you talking to me. Dolphins communicate mentally. So just imagine all the other layers we don't know about.
Right.
And when you take, same way when people smoke weed, it opens things up for them. And for some people, it closes things and dulls them. What ayahuasca does is it like, you know, like when you hitting that seek button on a radio station, yo, you getting all the channels.
Find it.
all the channels.
Stopping here, you catching something. Stopping here, you catching something.
Man, so with that, man, like that's how my brain was processing every image I was seeing. And like, yo, like, and like my higher self was like, hey, listen, you're gonna suffer until you ask somebody to help you. Cause I know you hate asking for help.
Right.
Or like close your eyes if you want to, but you're gonna see more when you close your eyes. You ain't gonna sleep through this. You're gonna fucking suffer until you ask somebody for help. Right. And it got to the point I was like, yo, like somebody help me, please. I don't wanna die. I just wanna go home and see my family. Hug me. Tell me I'm not gonna die. And for me,
that was a lot.
Yeah, that was like the equivalent of me shitting on live television.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not something I want to do in front of people, and I don't want to ask for anybody for help out loud. And then and that's ego.
Yeah,
it's ego.
I was just gonna ask you, what do you think it was? What do you think the hesitating to ask for help?
I think sometimes like the fear of being told no, and not saying that someone like help me. No, like I don't think no one would have said no, but I just think sometimes when you go most of your life not specifically asking for things out of fear of somebody saying no, because I do a lot of things for people, and my thing is like I don't want to ever hate nobody because like I asked them to do something and told me no. Yeah. Especially as many times I just do things on the strength because you know what? In my spirit, it feels like the right thing. I'm going to do it. I ain't going to charge you.
Yeah. I'm not going to give you the opportunity to make me not like you.
Right. Yeah.
You going to tell me no or some shit that you should be saying yeah? Like, I get that. I do get that because we want to cater to those relationships and those friendships. We want to have them. And I don't want to see you in another light.
Right.
I don't want to see you in another light. I want to see you in your best light. But sometimes that's also the exits. You know what I mean? Like,
it is the exit because like then you know when to like, you know, like, oh, this relationship it's a very one-sided relationship. Like, you know, I've jumped out the window many times for you. You will not even tell me where the stairs are. So maybe you just bought your way out of my life with that. No. I mean, there's that component. And then, but also too, I will say there is probably a component of like pride. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the same way like in general, women say we don't ask for directions. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know where I'm going. I've seen this building before. That can on the ground was there like a year ago.
You lost, man. You so fucking lost.
Yeah, just ask for help. Pull a map out. So that sort of thing. So after that one, I realized that, all right, cool. You know what? Yeah. My time in this particular format is probably up. And whether I continue to do radio for another company or something else, this particular situation is not good for me. Okay. And you need to go anywhere else.
Anywhere. So, just get out of here. Yeah. Just get out.
And God had enough things on my plate so where like, you know, with Dish Nation and then like other things that subsequently came to where like it filled those gaps to where like I didn't have everything I had, but I had everything I needed. Right. And that's the key. Because like sometimes we want everything, but sometimes you just need what you need.
You need what you need. And so this is the journey, right? Like, so this is the journey that you're on, that we're all on the journey. What is the goal? What is the mission? Like, what is the end goal that this journey is like the alchemist?
Word.
You know what I mean? Like, what is it that you are wanting to get to?
I want to help as many people as I can with the things that I do. And I also want to be a healer. Like, I want to be able I literally want to be able to like put my hand on you and like, your shit is fixed. Right. And going back to my first ayahuasca retreat, I got a glimpse of that. Really? Of how that looks and how that feels. Because there was a person that I was drawn to their frequency as soon as I walked into the place that we was doing the ceremony at.
This is before it starts. This is
before
just
it
walking
started.
in.
It was like night one, because like the way typically, at least the ceremonies I went to, like first night you go, you do like a ceremony around like after 11 o'clock, around midnight or whatever, and then you process all that overnight. Then you do a ceremony in the middle of the day on Saturday. Then you do another ceremony Saturday night, and then Sunday's usually like the closing ceremony. Everybody operates different. Sometimes like write everything down and throw it in the fire, and you know whatever. You never know what it's gonna be. So there was this girl I was drawn to, and not because she's beautiful or anything. I was drawn to her frequency. Yeah. And like whatever table she was at with the other people she was at, like I don't know. This was like
just vibrating. Like
this was like my buddy. So I got a chance to talk to her for a little bit, and he's like, you know, it's like yeah, like you know, I'm a midwife, you know, and But yeah, for whatever reason, I'm not able to have kids. And I'm like, oh wow, like that's such a tragic tale. Like you help people, but you know, with all the people you help, you can't help anybody.
Yeah.
And she was, this wasn't her first ceremony either. She's done ceremonies before, and she was just like, so I'm like, yo, so what is this like? Because like I don't know what happens here. And I forgot what her answer was, but she's like, hey, when we go down to the ceremony space, like feel free to like sit by me or whatever. And like the first night, nothing happened. The second night, while like after we took the medicine, because I felt like I got everything I needed after that first night. That was the night where like, okay, this is what it felt like when my mom transitioned. This is what it felt like when Biggie died. This is what it felt like when my grandmother died. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Like I could have drove home that night. I was fine. So on the second night ceremony, because the daytime ceremony just made me appreciate grass more. Because I used to hate outside.
What?
I used to hate outside. Like my biggest fear is like I go outside, get bit by a spider, lose a foot. Like, cause it's like the spiders can hide in the grass.
You
like,
want to be the comforts of your home.
Yeah, like I'm an indoor cat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like so it made me appreciate grass, and I understand like outside I understand that like, yo, we are connected with the earth. I get it
100%.
I so get it now. But before I didn't. And so that was the takeaway from the second one. So the third one, I'm like, I got everything I need out of this trip. And I think my needs are empty. Let me put my energy into the room and help whoever needs to help. There was the shaman was like at the front of the ceremony space, and his assistant was there too. And his assistant, I think he was like an energy transfer for the shaman, because like the shaman is feeling everything that everybody's feeling, and the assistant is bearing that weight too. So at one point, like I put my hand on the assistant, and I was like, "Hey man, you all right?" And then all of a sudden, I just felt like his issues went away. And then when I laid down on my pallet, like after I got my tea, two things happened. And I'm not gonna say that one thing was connected to the other thing. However, I definitely spiritually had sex with somebody in that room.
Oh man, this is already one of the most interesting conversations I've ever had in my life.
Yo,
wait,
man.
What?
Yo, man, I can't.
That wasn't on the bingo card. I didn't.
And
Let's go.
I can't explain it.
Yeah.
Yo, man, and it wasn't like how like you think of like I don't know like an old fling from back in the days. It was on a different level. And
What?
And I'm just laying on my pallet. I'm not air humping or anything. I'm just laying on the pallet. But like spiritually, I felt the whole process of an energy transfer through sex, and it felt amazing. And I'm like, yo, if this happens at every ceremony, I might come once a month, right?
Count me in.
Yo, like sign me up. Can I get the monthly plan, please, and thank you. However, like bringing it back to like a non-dirtbag space.
That's cool.
Later on, like I'm like, oh, who needs help in this room? The person who helped me and explained it to me.
Yeah.
And yo, I can't fully explain everything, but the same way that I felt like I had sex spiritually in that room, I felt myself go into her nervous system, her organs, and repair whatever blockage was there. And then after that happened, I threw up all this black shit in a bucket. Because when you take ayahuasca, you purge. You're going to either purge from uptown or downtown. It's moving from somewhere, right? So I threw up all this black stuff in this bucket, and it was different than any other time I threw up. And I knew at that moment that, oh, hey.
You took what was bad.
Yeah. And I leaned over to her. I was like, yo, you're going to have a baby, and she's going to change the world. She's going to be beautiful. And she looked at me like, you asshole, how fucking dare you say. She didn't say those words.
But just
look at her face
who
like,
you think you are.
Like, who you think you are? Like, yo, like, that's like some crazy shit to say. And we kept in touch. And then like, and I think I told her within the amount of time that she was going to have a baby.
What?
And within maybe, I was off like maybe by 6 days.
Yeah.
She sent me a picture of a pregnancy stick with the thing being positive.
What?
And
see, but you went in gifted already. Like you already had the gifts, whatever it was.
I think a lot of people are.
But they just don't know
We don't know. We don't know. We're so distracted. We don't know how to not be distracted. We don't know how to not have a phone in our hand. We don't know how to not be doing something.
Yeah.
We don't know how to sit in silence and just hum.
Or gets outside the box of what somebody told us what shit is. This is what it is, and this is all it is. No, actually, there's a lot of stuff that we know that we're getting attached to, like you said, the earth, like, you know, like getting outside the house, getting in tune with the grass, and like getting grounded. Like, it's a lot of stuff. I want to do the ayahuasca thing. Like, this story is the final story that I've heard that is like, yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and I think you'll know when it's your time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people like, because it was a time where I wasn't ready.
Mhm.
Like, it changes you. I don't want to change. I want to be exactly who I am. And then like it got to a point where it's like, oh yeah, I need to make a change. Michael Jackson voice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like for
like,
once in
straight
my
up.
life, it's gonna
Right.
feel real good. It's gonna make a difference. You know,
Dude.
that sort of thing. So once I saw that happen, it's like, whoa, I could maybe be like a Reiki healer.
I was gonna say
or-
Reiki. So like the Reiki massages or this and that. Have you started that journey of like actually trying to get in?
I went to a place that offered the classes.
Mhm.
The price point at
was
that
crazy.
time was a little repugnant. it's like I'm trying to help people here, man. Like,
Let me see if I can Google some shit.
Yeah, it's like let me see if I can YouTube University this Reiki energy mastery.
Is
But
Harvard offer these free classes?
can I chat GPT
Like,
this at this
what?
point in time? But like, because I've also been just distracted, like we're just like having to do so many other things. I haven't circled back to that yet. But even, you know, like being an empath, like, yo, man, like I be feeling what people are going through. And I know that that's probably a sign of a person who has these abilities.
Yeah.
Because if you don't feel nothing, how can you help people?
Right.
But if you feel what people are going through without even having to talk to them or without them telling, then okay, you're wired a little bit differently, and you might be one of those ones. Because like, I mean, throughout history, and a story that my grandmother told me that like it went in my ear as a story, and I like was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then looked it up later. She told me a story about a lady who knew, and y'all can look this up, about a woman who lived down the street from her when she was a kid who knew how to talk the fire out of people. So when she was a
Talk
kid,
the fire out of people.
talk the fire out of people. So basically, those people could do that were healers at a supreme degree, to the point that we're like on some Mr. Miyagi shit.
Yeah.
Rub their hands
Yeah.
together and maybe put a little mysterious salve or oil on their hands and like and heal you. So her sister was sitting on her dad's lap, and this is like the early 1900s.
Okay.
Fell off her dad's lap and fell face forward on like one of them little potbelly stoves.
Oh, damn.
Like how they used to have like in the cartoons
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah.
And burnt her face to like you could see like muscle and bone under it.
Oh.
So they knew the lady down the street that could talk the fire out of people, and like I guess her mom and her dad took her sister down there and she did the thing and rubbed it on her. So when she told me that story, I was like, oh, really? It wasn't like maybe like 6-7 weeks later, like I started looking it up.
Yeah.
People that could talk the fire out of people. What is that about? And come to find out, it's a trait that a lot of people have, and it's typically women.
Uh-huh.
And it usually jumps over a generation or whatever, but it's a thing. Like the same way, like for some reason your eyes might be brown, and the next person's eyes might be hazel. We don't understand all the things that we think we understand, and we only know what books tell us. And I think sometimes books don't tell us everything that they know,
Right.
because it eliminates a lot of industries.
Yeah.
You know, I've gone to herbalist before, and then we'll go to like a high-end, expensive doctor just to get a second opinion. I'm not dying. I just want to live as long as I can. Because I was an herbalist just trying to because they could run tests to tell you like everything you're allergic to.
Yeah.
And
Or iridologists. Like they could look like
the science of eyes. That's
dude,
like
that's just crazy that they don't even talk about that shit. That they can look, the iridologist can look in your eyes. And I remember my mom is into all this. She's in Philly right now, but she was the first person that she was dating a guy that was an iridologist or whatever. But they can look, and he knew about what surgery she had, what was taken out, what this is, just through looking through in her eye. And it's like,
to the untrained or the uninitiated, it sounds like mumbo jumbo witchcraft, but if you know, you know.
Right.
You know? And I went to this one herbalist. She like put like some stones on my stomach and like closed her eyes and just touched around. And it was like, yo, you shouldn't be eating dairy, gluten. Hey, do you have an issue with blah, blah, blah? And then something else, yo, here are these herbs. Take them, come see me in like 6 weeks. I came back 6 weeks like, yo, this is improved. You don't need to take this herb no more. You don't need to take it. And it wasn't expensive.
Yeah.
Like, it was like
all natural shit.
all natural things. And I'm like, all right, let me get a second opinion. And I went to like
no medicine for the side effect.
Right. Like, you know, because you need a medicine because you took this medicine, that sort of thing. So I went to another like high-end doctor that was like a mixture of science and herbalist stuff.
Okay.
Like, we're going to take enough blood from you to clone you. And then we're going to like run it through all these tests and tell you all the things that you're allergic to. And it said the same thing that this woman said.
That's
because I'm allergic to shellfish, but apparently I'm even more allergic to ginger, but I don't have an outright reaction to it.
That's visible.
It bloats me internally
Yeah.
when I take ginger. And I'm like, and I'm using ginger all the time for my voice.
Right.
But if you gave me like
because
some
ginger's
shrimp,
always the fix. Like, oh, here's some ginger. And not even knowing you're allergic to that because it's
so learning all that was crazy. And like, yeah, like, and you can, because like a lot of times, anytime you go to a doctor, you should always get a second, even third opinion. Because I know so many people who died because they've just been prescribed for some things that the doctor just didn't, you know, we go off the script. I literally had somebody who worked at a hospital tell me like, hey, we prescribe whatever medicine.
We're getting paid to prescribe.
Yeah, like whoever took us to lunch last week, like that's why everybody has ADD.
Right.
Like, oh, Adderall for you. Adderall for you. You know, like everybody has the same things. So, yeah, all that to say, man, like, you know, we gotta learn about what our grandparents knew about.
Dude,
all you had was time and God.
Right. And that's something that I'm like fighting with right now also is like what I was brought up, religion, how I was brought up, believe what I believe, but also trying to understand what we came from also. Where did we come from? What were we doing before? What were our diets? What was our way of living? What am I doing now that doesn't fit what I'm supposed to be doing? You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, even the movie Sinners, right? Like, that's just, shout out to Ryan Coogler. Like, shout out to Sinners. But just the young lady that was in there that was the I don't know what you call, I don't know the term.
Like, a racist would say witch doctor.
Yeah, a witch, like.
And I wouldn't even say a racist, because, like, you know, like, voodoo priests have gotten a bad rep.
Yeah.
Because if you from Haiti, like, the voodoo priest is the doctor.
Right, exactly.
You know?
And so, but we cannot act like that did not exist.
Yeah.
That's a real thing that our people did. So are we just going to just ignore it and just say, oh, this doesn't happen and this is not, we don't know how to heal with nature?
Well, I think that it speaks volumes on the fact how easy it is to rewrite history. Because if you make information disappear for, you don't even have to do it for one generation. But if you can make a certain pocket of information disappear for 2 generational cycles,
right,
it never happened.
Right.
Because you're not exposed to it. I went to, so one of the people who orchestrates the ayahuasca retreats that I used to go to, she was like, yo, like, I like have a book from like the 1800s with some wild remedies in it. And it's like, wow. Like, I would love to take a look at this book because people don't live as long as we live now. Because, like, I don't know, you can step on a thumbtack and get rust foot and die.
Yeah.
But you also did have people who lived quite a long time because they were doing just weird things that now we take a chemical to help us out with. And then also they kind of like low-key poisoning the food. And regionally, we're not all eating the same things.
Right.
And I didn't realize this like 3 months ago. Like, I would say California, far and large, y'all get some of the best food, quality-wise. Or at least better food than we get served in Georgia.
Badu.
I mean, do you agree? Yo, man, because like, I went to a ramen spot the other day. It's like, yo, chicken don't taste like this where I live.
Oh, really?
Same thing when I went to like this one spot in Chicago. I'm like, chicken also does not, that chicken I had in Chicago tastes like it died on its own. Like
natural causes.
They didn't kill it. Like they prayed to
Lived
it.
a good life.
Yeah. Like the chicken
Said
prayed.
goodbye to his kids.
Yeah, like, yo, peacock. You know what I'm saying? It's my time. Thank y'all for coming. God bless. Good night. Yeah, but I think a lot of times, because we're eating low vibrational foods, we're operating at a low vibrational level. And I never understood when KRS-One made that song called Beef. And like, if you listen to that song, it's not about rap beef. It's about literally like meat. It's like, they was talking about what the cow goes through when the cow is killed. And like, it's like, in a slaughterhouse it dies among something with in front. But like basically it was saying like the conditions that the cow was experiencing before it got slaughtered, you're eating that stress. You know what I mean? And same way we deal with the traumas of our ancestors. Right. Like you maybe have never fought in a war, but you could still have PTSD because of something your dad or your granddad experienced. And
now they're saying trauma is passed down genetically. Like now now you want to say yes? We've been saying it for a long time now.
As much as we know nothing.
Yeah.
And we're still learning in real time. And like, I cannot wait to see what doors get unlocked. Now that podcast and in the Reddit and some of these other things. I mean, and granted, anybody can go on Reddit or any of these things and say anything. Shoot, even on a podcast, AI can say whatever, right? Right. You got to make sure.
That's a whole nother.
But you can find more people who know what you're talking about and make you feel not crazy and be like, all right, cool, let me do more research and figure out what this is. That's what I tell people all the time, man. Find out the oldest person in your family and talk to them. Right. Why you can.
Right. Exactly. And maybe record it.
Always record it. Like anytime a relative comes up, because that's how, like the story I told you about the talking the fire out. Yeah, I got that story when I brought my grandmother to my house and interviewed her.
See, that's what I was doing with Reality Check. I was like Reality Check. I brought my father on.
Dope.
And so I want to start bringing like some of the elders. The Badu knows the gentleman who runs Chaos. I want to interview him because I feel like these are the links between the generations, right? Like. The fire story. What if you never got that story? You know what I mean?
I would have never looked it up, and I would have never known about this other level of thing. Like, dude, like when you interviewed your dad, did you find out how you met your mom?
Yeah, I found out so much about it. I actually forgave my dad during the interview. Like, I could tell he was holding on to guilt, and I was like, there was a lot of things that went wrong, right? Yeah. But fuck that shit. We're here.
We're here right now.
I said, Dad, I forgive you, dude. Like, let go of that shit. Like, I'm a dad now. Yeah. I know this shit is hard. Yeah. This shit is not easy. I forgive you and I love you. And that was the most powerful thing that came out of all of this stuff was being able to just tell my dad on record in front of people just say, that was a powerful moment. I'm so happy I got to witness that. I need to call my dad. I need to do this. It was like, dude, this world is too big for us to be hanging on to these small things. Yeah. Dude, it's so much life to live out here. Like, what we went through was a small thing. And Dad, you did the best you could. You brought me up on the east side of Long Beach during the 80s.
Yo, man. And somebody modern time may not understand the gravity of that, but like, the other side of the pillow, 80s New York, dude, different world, and man, like they still make documentaries about what was going on in the east side of Long Beach in the 80s, man. So
it's like we're here, and so that's what I love. And so I go to the point where I was like, damn, if Dr. Sebi would have made it to this point of podcasting, or where so much access, like where people can hear Dr. Sebi all over now. Like now he's rest in peace, he's gone, and we still study and we still read. But imagine if he had this.
A regular platform to meet people where they're at. Yeah.
Dude, and we get to just sit back and listen and watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think his departure was partially by design, by higher forces. I mean, I don't think enough people talk about that. Nick Cannon gets a lot of things done. He even got Wild 'N Out back. He's staying better put out that documentary.
Dude.
You know what I mean? And I think there's a lot of people who don't, there's too much money at play. There's too many ecosystems that get usurped when you teach people how to be non-reliant on the infrastructure of this pharmaceutical / government business that
monster giant moneymaker of the pharmaceutical industry. One man beats him in. I think the court it was in New York.
Yeah, they proved he can cure HIV, right?
Yeah,
that's what it was.
And so just imagine you're making billions of dollars, and then you got this brother over here telling the world this $1 billion is for no reason. Y'all giving them this money for no reason.
Yeah, nobody, and like people are so controlled by money and greed, which once again goes back to I never asked for money, I asked for the opportunity. And I feel like if all those people who worship money in that pharmaceutical space, even in the oil space, because we could have been on solar years ago, right? If it was like opportunities to make people better and not the money, we'd be operating differently. It's amazing that like this country can't eat these things because their Food and Drug Administration deems it not healthy for the public.
Inhumane.
But meanwhile, you jump across the water and like, yo, we can have that over here.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
first
saying?
world country. We're a great country.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, eat it. Red dye. Yeah, it's good for you.
Enjoy.
That's crazy.
Like, when my homie asked me to like mail him a box of Lucky Charms to the UK, I'm like, why? And he's like, because we can't have it here. Like, mom won't let us. Yeah. This is the government. Like what's wrong with Lucky Charms?
Oh,
and
shit.
then I started looking into that more, and I'm like, oh.
Right. And it's horrible. So on that, I wanted to also, I saw you were doing a live, you're just driving, but you're on your way to Tyler Perry's studios. And I just, in my mind, like, what does that feel like? Like driving to Tyler Perry Studios to do 25 words or less.
25 words or less, yeah.
And you're driving to Tyler Perry Studios, a brother who is built out of, no, I don't want to say he built out of nothing because that sounds horrible, but he was at a bottom at some point, and he built this out of when he was at bottom. And it just made me reflect like, oh shoot, this young brother that's doing everything I think is amazing is going to another brother's studios that's doing amazing things. What did that feel like, man?
Yo, I could even stack the Jenga tower even higher. Like, because the very first time I had the opportunity to go to the Tyler Perry Studios was when I did Wildin' Out.
Okay.
And to go there for that experience, to see all of these sound stages named after prominent, Black actors and actresses. They? Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know that.
So even the other day, like when we was doing 25 Words or Less, it was on the Holly Berry stage.
What?
A few stages down, it's the Harry Belafonte stage.
What?
I think there's a Wesley Snipes stage too. I could be wrong. But there's all these stages named after amazing, people within our diaspora that shook things up. But to see how Nick Cannon created an ecosystem that not only launched so many comedians and so many creatives.
Because I didn't know Nick was there. I didn't know Wildin' Out was there.
The season that they was filming is, I think, was like 2019.
Okay,
is when they filmed was filming Wildin' Out on Tyler Perry Studios, and it was just so dope. Like we on a Black studio,
right,
working on a show put together by a Black man that employs a lot of Black people. And some DEI hires as well.
Yeah,
exactly. Like everybody gets to get a slice out of it. You know what I'm saying? And that was just tremendous because, before I even witnessed that, because I said I wanted to be able to help people, I also wanted to be a healer. Like one of the ways I wanted to have a big creative space to where creatives can come and create.
Okay.
And now, as time has gone by, like a lot of people are doing, like I got a podcast studio and I got like a space to where
the creative space, a little warehouse or something.
But to see that being done at the highest level, it's like, whoa, yeah, this is kind of what I want to aspire to do, just so I can be another person who can help people. Like maybe you don't have a Fox or Paramount budget to come shoot at the Tyler Perry Studios, but yo, listen, you have an idea or business you want to start? Let me help you so I can get you there.
Right.
So even if I could be that peg to get you to the next level, that's what I wanted to do. So it was really just a beautiful moment, man. I felt proud as hell. Cause any other time I've been on like a studio set stage, it's been some people who I'll never be able to look in the eye and shake their hand. You know what I mean? And I didn't see Tyler neither day I went. However, his presence was felt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I saw Nick, you know what I mean? So there's that. So it felt great. And and to be able to even be a part of a game show like 25 Words or Less. And also last season I was the voiceover announcer for Jeopardy. That was another full circle manifestation moment.
Wait.
Not Jeopardy. I'm bugging. Pictionary.
So
Pictionary. There's levels to this. There's levels to this.
Manifest is what we're doing.
Yeah, because that guy's gonna probably decide I don't need to do this no more, and they need to tag in. But yo,
for Pictionary, oh man, We just started playing that. That's one of my son's categories and Pictionary.
It's both of those games are fun as hell. Like for season 3, I was the announcer for it. Jerry O'Connell's the host. And yo, he's a phenomenal host. Unfortunately, it did not get picked up for season 4.
Okay.
And that sucks because like I don't understand why. However, at least I'm now in that lexicon of like, oh, who was the announcer for that season?
Yeah.
Either they'll be like, oh, he was the announcer of the season and got canceled, or they'd be like, we liked him as the announcer and like we'll put, because it's an easy gig.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes too easy because like sometimes you have to read things verbatim, like you
Okay.
can't like really have fun with it.
Yeah.
Don't get robbed, you're going to Curacao. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a source I'd want to put on it, but you know you got to keep it legal. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, because like when I was a kid, like game shows were like my life. Like I revolved my life around like what time game shows came on. I remember like because like here in LA, do kindergartners go to school all day or is it half day?
Half day.
Yo,
8 to 12 or 12 to.
It's kind of crazy when you look at that now because like who are these parents that could just go get their kid?
I was like, dude, what is kid? And daycare is so expensive. Yeah. It's like oh yeah, I can't afford that.
You sure y'all can't keep them to 3?
Yeah.
But so like when I was a kid, like I went to kindergarten, like everybody does, start school, and I would be home in town to watch Price is Right.
Price is Right, dude. Oh my God.
And that was like mandatory TV for me. Like
Bob Barker.
Yup, come on down.
Yeah, come on
Rod
down.
Roddy. He was the announcer. Yo, so I remember the first day of first grade, and my desk was by the window. And it was like, I don't know, like 10:45, 10:50. They supposed to be letting us go because it's that time. And I was like, hey, Mrs. Abernathy, the bus is outside and everybody's getting on it. She's like, you're here to 3.
Yeah.
Yo, when I tell you I burst into tears, because like my parents didn't tell me like we had to be there at 3, man. Like I'm supposed
you're joking me.
Yo, man, like, and I'm by the window to witness this atrocity every day for the rest of my my first grade life.
Like, are you joking me? Like, I'm missing Price is Right. Like what?
Man, and it was a double stab because not only am I not gonna be home inside of watch the Price is Right, like 3 o'clock, that sounds like I'm working overnight.
Right.
So like I've always had an affinity for like games because I will watch that. I will watch Press Your Luck, Win, Lose, or Draw. So like I'm at a point right now where like I've actually developed 2 game show ideas. And hopefully by the next time I circle the block and loop back, these will be into production. And it's dope games because like I feel like, I could change people's lives with the healing thing. Hopefully the music not even hopefully, the music I release will also lift people's vibrations up. But sometimes, you just need to get some bills paid.
Yeah.
And hopefully these shows that I'm creating will not only help people pay their bills, but be entertained while doing it.
Right.
And that's just me just in my helping bag. Like that's how I can help. You know what I'm saying?
That's all intertwined though. Like that. And I was gonna ask you that because you want to be in the field of healing, right? Mm-hmm. Have you ever like reflected and be like, oh shoot, I have been healing. I have been doing that work.
Every now and then.
Through music, through
I feel like more
your
people
actions, through what you're doing in life, like through what I'm telling you, when I looked at you today and looked up things and it put me in a different place.
Wow.
Of possibilities.
And that means a lot. That it really does mean a lot. And it's conversations like that make me be like, wow, okay, I won't kill myself this week. We'll prolong it. Because look, Rios needed that. I needed that. I needed this conversation. I needed Badu. Hey, this dude's dope. Check this out. And look at it, it's like, dang, representation means so much. And I think it means more now to me, specifically individually to me. I've always told my kids, like, oh, Obama representation, it matters for my son to see a black man this, or a girl my daughter to be able to see a black woman doing this and that. And I never really even fathomed or thought about you always put yourself last. But in this interaction, representation helped me feel better about me. Yeah.
Like, oh, there is a space for me. There is a space for us. Or maybe I'm not as charismatic or I can't do all these things, but at least I know there's a space for us to do that. And this dude is doing it well.
Nah, brother, you're doing it too. And you're more than enough. You have all the charisma, or the riz, as these kids say these days. Like you're doing it all. And sometimes I think because we're so tunnel vision in our mission, we don't think about the little victories. I saw a thing today on IG that said people complaining about getting only 10 likes on a post. Imagine if 10 people complimented you today in real life.
Man.
And it's like, wow, it's about perspective.
It is.
In real life. And then even just the little things. Like, you mentioned Badu, who's off camera right now. This brother and Polly Rob have helped me out so tremendously.
Shout out local astronauts, man. Polly Rob and Badu.
Yo, like not only in my creative process, but just through the art that I try to make. I remember the very first time I met these brothers, a friend of mine brought me through. They fired up some beats, and I was about to do this one song, and I was gonna do it one particular way. And Rob was like, "Yo, like, what are you doing, man? Like, would over this record, like, would you come at somebody with this much energy in a real life scenario?" I'm like, "Oh, you're right." And then that record ended up being this record called Save a Life.
Okay.
It's a bop featuring A1 Crash, and shout out to them. Then we did another record called Red Pill, aka Tightrope, which is like a kind of like a battle of the sexes type record. Like, because sometimes people be in relationships and situations that no longer serve them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that record might help a lot of people like untangle some things, like they don't need to be tethered to no more. And yo, he was explaining this whole red pill culture to me, because like it was completely over my head and outside of my wheelhouse. And I was like, yo, like put me on. He's like, yo, it's basically about dudes who like be like, yo, there's value in us and da 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 da. And I'm like, oh, I get it. Yeah, we don't gotta tolerate this shit. You know what I'm saying? like, let me start penning this down. And then
oh my I ain't gotta do that.
Sometimes you just need a cosign, because like I think sometimes we as men, we put so much into making sure everybody else is good that we suffer in silence and we deal with bullshit we don't have to. And Tightrope, my perspective on my verse is me like putting a cease on some shit that I don't have to deal with. Like this girl calls me, yo, GM, WYD. It's 6:03, LOL, I'm asleep. And she's like, I want to come over. Come through for what? Like, it's early. You don't have shit to do later on the day. And I do.
Right.
And like, yo, you're not going to bring me down with you. I tried to show you a good time, brought you to a nice restaurant. You came in pajamas. You know what I'm saying? like the whole kit and caboodle. And there's some people who will like, on for the pursuit of the punani, will like entertain some nonsense they don't got to deal with.
Everything.
And because this ain't like a female punch-out club, like I got Kay Valentine on the record, and she's like talking about that same thing from the female perspective about how like, yo, dudes be on that bullshit sometimes too. So,
that's dope.
The yin and the yang is represented. And then I think one of the most helpful records that like local astronauts helped me put together is this joint called Mona Lisa Scars.
Mona Lisa Scars.
And it basically is about celebrating your flaws. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, Gap Tooth Keisha Cole was something special.
Right.
She wrote love.
Right.
Chip Tooth Nas made Illmatic. You know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes it's those little things that make you different that you should celebrate more. Like Mary J. Blige took like a little weird scar, like a little, like you only can see it when it's zoomed in.
Yeah.
But like that tells a story. Like, wow, that scar came from something.
Exactly.
And you have your stories that you tell.
It adds character.
Yeah, so you don't gotta go see Dr. Miami. You don't gotta get a BBL, or you don't gotta get like, I don't know, your forehead shortened. You know what I'm saying?
What if Michael Jackson knew he was enough?
Well, he had vitiligo, and he was the biggest pop star in the world, and I understand what he was going through. And then he got his scalp burnt. Like he had a different set of problems.
What? Yeah, he had a different.
Then he had his dad snuffing him. Then you got your brothers.
But I'm just saying, he had a whole, I think he had a problem that nobody else to ever exist ever had.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there's a person on earth that can ever say they know what Michael Jackson was going through.
I don't even think people got it until he died. Because half the stuff that like we always, people, not we, because I was, listen, when I tell you I was a big Michael Jackson fan, like I could do all the Thriller choreography, and I was a G.I. Joe Transformers collector, but on the low, nigga, I had the doll.
I had it. Hey.
I had the doll, bro.
I had the doll. I had it too. And I was G.I. Joe, Transformer, same.
I hate that he wasn't the same height as all the other people, because like there was no plot line that I could come up with that would make sense for a 12-inch Michael Jackson to come through on a 3.75-inch Roadblock and Snake Eyes. You know what I'm
That shit is
saying?
hilarious because he was oversized like a bug. Like,
Yeah, it made no sense. The He-Man dudes too,
Yeah.
and the most disrespectful toy companies, them niggas that made masks, they made them action figures shorter than everybody. I can't put Duke in this plane.
no. But damn, it brings up such a surface level, like, because we can talk about a surface level, but at depth is you could think somebody is on top of the world.
Yeah.
And people fainting at their concerts, people just dying to get around that person. But what it tells you is that everybody has some issues.
Yeah.
Everybody has some mental issues, some emotional issues, something going on, some trauma. And sometimes we put these people on pedestals like, no, you're just that. That's all you are. You're not even human, really.
Right.
You're just this performer. And I don't want to keep you too long here, but I do want to talk about mental health, right? And having to do your mental health check-ins, but also acknowledging I do have an issue.
Yeah.
There's something going on. I shouldn't be feeling like this. I shouldn't be doing this. Have you ever had to have a check-in with yourself? Like, what's going on? Why am I feeling like this? Why?
All the time, man. And because like there's so many things that I started doing later in life and not early in life. You know, like people who have been smoking weed since they were teenagers have a different wrangle on certain things, maybe some good, some bad, because like cannabis doesn't pair well with everybody. Some people will become a better version of themselves. Some people will become burnouts, right? You never know what it's going to be you get there. I used to always like kind of like vilify cannabis because I just watched my parents smoke all the time. And then also, you know, they dabbled in various aspects of the drug trade as well. And I just saw like kind of like the wedge that built in my family. And I remember one time I was telling my manager just the other day, I remember one time one of my school friends came by and like there was like a roach by the fish tank. And I was like, damn, man, he gonna know my parents smoke weed.
Oh, shit.
It's the worst thing in the world that ever happened to me. And like now, through a different set of lens, now that I'm older, like I realize, oh yeah. Because some people would be like, don't smoke weed, you have kids. But sometimes like, yo, my parents smoked weed because they had kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of pressure.
It is.
It's a lot of pressure. The world demands a lot from you. And sometimes to entertain and be a non-hostile version of yourself, you need something to knock the edge off a little bit so you can be a little bit more even keel the middle ground. Because the crazy thing, I used to do edibles probably starting around 2000, maybe 2011.
Okay.
Or 12 when I started coming to LA more. And y'all started opening it up, legalizing certain things. But I didn't really start smoking weed until like after I did ayahuasca. Like I smoked a joint one time, like when I was like 14 in upstate New York at a family reunion with a homie, but I wasn't really smoking like that. And the weed was kind of a Band-Aid for the way work was making me feel. Yeah. And also we're in the middle of the pandemic. So I can't do the things I like. I can't go to the movies. I'm stuck in my house, kinda. You know, like nothing's normal. I released this project I spent all this time working on. I can't even like do shows to promote it. Like it was just a frustrating time. And I did everything but therapy because I felt like, and I still do feel like it, that the ayahuasca super serves me in a way that a therapist may not even be able to understand. I started doing like laser light therapy, which also is helpful because there'd be times I'd be in a crappy mood and I'll do this low laser. It's a thing called a Pandora star. Okay. And at the time it was a flex because I was like one of the few people in the country that had it because like it's a company in the UK. Like,
so is it like an actual device? Like,
yeah, it's like about the size of a little bit smaller than a frisbee. Okay. And you like mount it to like a tripod. Okay. And like you can like lay on the floor and like a bunch of people could just lay on the floor and you close your eyes and something about the flicks and the beams that it throws out there, it entrains your brain. So if you do it like multiple times a week, it like makes your brain better. It helps all your synapses fire in a way that maybe mushrooms do. Okay. You know, so a non-psychedelic long-lasting trip, but overall just better brain and neural pathway things are happening because you're doing these light things. Like the same way certain flashes of light can trigger seizures in people. Imagine a non-seizure brain trip.
Right.
Like it's flipping the right switches as opposed to the wrong switches. So that was helping. And but there's still like, and I still, even to this moment, I probably do need to seek traditional therapy.
Okay.
And to like have conversations with people that don't necessarily like, because sometimes I'd be like, yo, like, you know, you're walking to a therapist, like, yo, HeadKrack from Dish Nation. Oh, you know me too much. I'm out.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
like,
sure.
I can't tell you all my things.
Yeah,
like I'm leaving.
Yeah, right.
You know, so jump. Like, you know, but I think also some of that like leans into the pride component too a little bit too. But I know a lot of people whose traditional therapy has really helped. I have probably self-medicated and self-doctored as much as I can up to this point. At this very moment, I am very happy. Nothing's wrong in the world. A week from now, maybe I'll be going through a low and I will feel like nothing's working out the way I planned it to. And I don't know, what if I didn't wake up tomorrow? It'd be great, right? So, you know, dealing with those highs and lows is difficult and it's normal. It's part of the process, and you just have to go back to that, almost that thing I was telling you before. If 10 people complimented you in real life, that's actually dope.
Right.
So far and large, I think everybody has had more good days than bad days. And don't let your worst day dictate the rest of your life.
It doesn't define you.
Yeah, it doesn't define you, man. Like, you know, like, yeah, there's a lot of people incarcerated because one bad day has defined where they'll be chilling for a while. However, when you get out, don't let that day predicate your future, even though the system is set up in a way to where they're going to make it difficult for you to have a regular, you know, normalcy. Yeah, the vicious cycle of it all. So it's going to look different for everybody. But for me, it's been like the things that I've been doing in the self space and just healing from within. But I do know that even going back to what we was talking about earlier on, the help that I do truly need is probably to talk to like an actual psychiatrist just to get that extra voice. Cause like, I think sometimes even like you can go through most of your life processing everything the right way and then realizing, oh yeah, I'm not good at social cues, or I read that wrong. Nigga, don't tell me to have a nice day. You're my fucking dad. Like you're saying, like, oh, they meant it in a good way.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
like,
I was saying, what's up? Like, hey. I wasn't saying, what's up with you? I was saying, hello.
Because like the same message on a different day you gonna
resonate differently. Yeah.
And I've definitely experienced that. And sometimes I think, you know, too, because like we do so much self-medicating, we will create narratives in our heads that ain't even really there.
Right.
And you gotta realize that, like, man, things are probably better than you're giving it credit for. You just gotta fix the 1 to 5, maybe even round up as high as 10% of things that aren't going right. And it's fixable. Right. If you have a 10% hole in a 90% perfectly working boat, yeah, your boat's fucked up, but we can figure this out.
Yeah, we can get to the other side of the lake.
Yeah, we can caulk it. You know what I'm saying? A couple layers of duct tape. You know what I'm saying? Like we can get there. So it's just about like recognizing that, not freaking out, doing the work. Right. And I think I do a great job of not freaking out. It hasn't always been easy. Yeah. But if you're aware of it, it does make it easier.
And what I think what we just did right now, right? Just the acknowledgement. It's powerful because we just said we all have mental stuff going on. We all, but guess what? We're not talking about it. Yeah. We're not talking about this. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's not as bad as we think it is, but we don't know because we don't have any examples of anybody saying, yeah, I got an issue. It's all good though. I'm still moving forward, because we've looked at things as so taboo. Oh, like shit, if I got something wrong with me, that means I'm off, or this is. So the therapy thing is very much needed for everybody. But if you think about the basis of therapy, it's communication. Yeah. It's just literally, like, yeah, therapists are skilled in what they do, they're doctors or whatnot, but it's literally you just talking about your shit. Yeah. Like when do we have the time to talk about our shit? When do we set aside an hour to talk about our shit.
I don't think we really carve that much
We
time
don't.
because we're trained to just go and go and go. And I think a lot of us as men, we sometimes have the opportunity to go talk to a barber.
Right.
Because barbers are therapists for a lot of people. Sometimes I think sometimes as you get older, you might not necessarily be in tune with your friends as you used to be in your 30s because like now they have families of their own and their life is moving how it has moving. But I will say, like, and this is no glaze, talking to you about the things that we've talked about has been very helpful for me in real time. And it's shit like this that keeps me from going to fucking therapy. Because like, yeah, sometimes the answer is you just need to talk.
You just need to talk.
And I think as much as we can communicate, like we have more ways to communicate with people, we've become worse and worse communicators.
Because we need to hear ourselves say the things.
Yeah.
We need to hear it. Like sometimes you ever had like a problem, an issue, and you can't figure it out, but then as soon as you bring it up to somebody, you start talking to them about it, it's like, oh no, actually, never mind. I got it.
You just need to say it out loud and just hear it.
And hear it.
Yeah.
And it's like we don't communicate. And us as brothers, I've seen it that we just need to do more communication because we will go to the barber, we will talk, but we're not in the barber chair in a safe space. We're like, hey man, I really screwed up as a dad today. You know, like what I did this morning, I need to go apologize to my baby because that's not happening. Like, hey, when was the last time your wife made you feel like less of a man? Like, what did you do with that? That's not the conversations that we're having because we're not comfortable. I had like a prostate scare, right? Okay. And I found out that prostate cancer is amongst black men the highest.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, how many black men have I talked to that have told me about prostate cancer?
Probably none, right?
None.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're not talking.
Well,
we are not communicating.
But that's a multi-layered cake. One, we don't go to the doctor as much as we should.
Right.
Two, we don't want to do the tests that make us feel like we're old. And you won't get old.
Vulnerable in a horrible situation.
Yo, but here's the thing with the prostate, they can do that from blood draws now.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yo, like like I remember because I got a prostate exam about a year ago in front of the MLK Center, right? Mm-hmm. And being ignorant and not knowing how it works. You're like, yo, would you like a prostate exam? I'm like,
yo,
in front of these people? Hell no.
I'm good.
They're like, no. We can do it from blood now. And we'll let you know, we'll send you a letter in a couple of weeks, let you know how it went. So they did it, and I was glad I did it. And I also reached that threshold where you get a colonoscopy.
Yeah.
Another thing that motherfuckers ain't lacing their shoes to go run and do.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's key, man.
It's key.
The food's fucked up and it could be fucking you up and you don't know what's going on inside. And it would suck if you find out way later than you should have. And having that information, you could have weaponized your survival if you'd have just stopped being so pride-filled or being so scary. Or, oh, that's gay. Ain't nobody playing with my ass.
Yeah, exactly.
And not saying that they play with your ass when they do it.
But whatever. Yeah. But did you rather die? Like, you know what I mean?
Definitely would rather not die.
You know, and so I told her, I went to football practice while I was coaching football. And one of the fathers, we was just chopping it up. And that whatever happened that day made me know that we weren't communicating properly. So I was like, I need to start having more significant conversations. Like not know, hey, how was work? Work is work. You know, and then just wait, why is work? Wait, hold on. What's going on at work? Like, why is it? So I hit him. I was like, dude, we're not communicating. I had this stuff going on. And I was like, you need to go get your shit checked out just on the strength of it. Saw him the next week. He had 12 polyps that he had to have removed.
Whoa.
And the doctor said, if you'd have waited another year, you'd have been gone.
Man, you never know how influential just random interactions that we have sometimes can save a life.
Save a life. And it's communication. And that's really what I think the message today here is communication, right? Like we need to just communicate. And this conversation with you has really helped me. Getting to know you has me feeling on a high.
Well, yo, I'm on your speed dial now. So whatever you need from me, bro, like even if it's just like, hey man, Did you get your most recent prostate exam?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's these little things, man. It's these little things. Like, yo, like, to be able to say you, like, I mean, like.
I thought he was going to say, hey, you know about the ayahuasca?
I mean, that too. I'll help you connect, because, like, I think they doing one at Joshua Tree.
Okay.
Coming up soon. I don't know when what's the street date on this episode, but they're doing, I'll send you the information.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, it's a flex to be able to say you saved somebody's life, though.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
Like,
and it's not like, you're supposed to, like, walk outside, stand like Superman with the cape blowing. But, yo, man, like, that's a gift in itself, to be able to, like, have the intuition and the foresight to even say that, what you said to that man, for him to go get that check. Like, man, I'm fucking proud of you.
Thank you, brother. And I tell that story because I want people to feel like, oh, shoot, yeah, maybe we need to start talking more about what's going on with me, or I had a bad day because of this. And what James Baldwin said, we as black men have to walk around full of rage. Why do we have to walk around? Because we have to react to shit. We have to be protected here. God do this. And you can't tell me that the way life was set up for us, it didn't have some aftermath in us, like effects. Like, were we still going to 10 sometimes? Why did I go to 10? Like, why did I do that?
Yeah, I think that mentality that you speak of is part of our programming.
Yeah.
And I think it happened unintentionally. And even when you say, like, like, we have to communicate more and better, sometimes we could be on a script. Like, we work at a call center. Hey, what's up? How was your day? Great? Cool. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, you gotta dive deeper. Like, why was it just all right? What happened today? What they serve for lunch at your school? So little things that just divert the path of the normal conversational flow, so you can dive deeper, because sometimes, there could be something wrong, but you have to ask 5 questions instead of 4 to get the real answer.
Exactly.
Because sometimes people are like, what's wrong with you? Nothing. Damn well something's wrong with you, right? But nah, I want to know that you really care about you asking me like 3 times, like a genie.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it's a thing going on right now. I don't know if it's TikTok or Instagram, but it's brothers calling their homeboys.
Wishing people good night. Yo, that took me out. Because, like...
Hey, what's wrong with you, man? What's going on?
It should be so normalized, but it feels so weird, like, watching it. Like, don't wish me good night.
Like, dude, it's so funny. It is so funny. It's so entertaining, but it's so revealing also. Like, damn. Like, we got to be cool. Like, it was a dude said, he had sent a text message to his boys like, hey, y'all want to go to the movies, check out Sinners?
And go to the movies with no home, with no dues.
That's what this look like. You gotta go to the movies with your girl. But damn, are we in this place where we can't even be cool? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we too tough. But I feel we're getting in a place. We're in a place where we're getting better, and we're able to laugh. Being able to laugh at it right now lets me know, like, we're in a better place.
But I also want to find that guy who felt so strongly about not wanting to go to the movies with his homeboys, to find out what happened to him that got him in his headspace. Like, were you sexually assaulted by a counselor at a movie one time?
What
like,
happened?
Why don't you want to go to?
Who hurt you?
Because I used to mostly, before I had like kids, like now they replace my friends at movies that I go to. Like, I used to love going to the movies with my homies, like, because those were bonding experiences.
Yeah.
Like, movies are my love language. Like, if I go to the movies with you, like, yo, man, I rock with you. If I feed you or take you to the movies, like, yo, like, you down by law.
You in my circle, man. Like,
yeah.
I'm a movie person too, man. And I appreciate you coming here, man.
I appreciate you having me, man.
This has been so dope. It's been so healthy for me. I just want to give you your flowers and tell you that you're dope. You're doing great things.
Thank you, brother.
And I appreciate your walk in life and how you're moving. And I appreciate you being open and vulnerable and sharing your stories with me and with the viewers. You doing it, man. You the shit, man.
I appreciate you. Hey. Likewise, man. Like, yo, man, may your star continue to rise, and may this podcast help anybody that comes across, whether it be this episode, previous episodes. Just know if you stumble across this, the universe found you and they wanted you to see it. Nothing happens by coincidence or mistake. It's all intentional, and you just got to walk your walk and just be confident in your abilities and what you can do, because you got it. You definitely got it. So salute to you, man. Thank you so much, Ace Boy.
Hey, man, this is the Reality Check with Rios. We have this is literally one of my favorite interviews, one of my favorite conversations.
Thank you,
my
man.
guy HeadKrack here, just kept it real the whole time, and I appreciate you. And hopefully we can do this again sometime down the line.
Whenever.
Whatever. If there's anything ever that I could possibly help you with or do or anything, hit me up, man. I'm always available.
Yo,
I don't work no more 9 to 5. I'm just here doing it, sitting in this chair.
Living in your purpose, man. Yo, I boomerang in the same sentiments towards you, man. Whatever you need, man. Yo, man, fan for life, man. And shout out to you. Shout out to local astronaut. Shout out my homie Badu, Polly Rob, the whole squad. Shout out to Xander, who is about to go to the next 4th grade.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 4th grade, new levels, new devils. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, my son has got to be some cool ass people, man. Like, I love that about it being here, because I make sure I tell her, like, hey, come meet this cool dude, man. And then later on in life, he's gonna be like, oh, that's such a
you know, it's like a seed that you plant, you know, like when it grows later, like, oh man, that came together, like real
right
nice.
there, man. All right, man. This is Reality Check. We out.